So let's give a round of applause to Congresswoman Grace Meng.
Thank you so much, Ben, and thank you to everyone for putting together this event and giving not just our community this space, but for all communities to come together. I look across the space today and in events and Zooms in the last few weeks and months, and I am so incredibly thankful and heartened to see the tremendous allyship shown from so many beyond the Asian American community. I've been really touched because never in my life, I'm in my 40s, never in my life have I seen and felt such a widespread showing of support and encouragement from people who don't look like me. And I am so thankful for that because it's going to take all of us. In this last year of us battling the pandemic, we've also battled these other viruses of discrimination against Asian Americans. We stood together to stand against anti-Semitism. We stood together publicly and in solidarity to say that Black Lives Matter. And so we come together and we are incredibly thankful. Over this last year, we have been screaming out, which often felt like we were screaming into a black hole. We've been screaming for months and months about the discrimination that was happening, whether it was just verbal, straight down to physical violent attacks. For over the past year, we felt like not many people were listening to us. And that is largely because in this history of the United States, our Asian Pacific American community has been largely seen as invisible. Whether you're talking about our history books, where in this country's history, we've had laws on the books to exclude us and to discriminate against us because of ignorant fear. From the Chinese Exclusion Act to Japanese Americans being incarcerated, to the most recent Muslim ban in the past few years, our community has been scapegoated over and over again. We're missing from the history books. We're also missing from the budget books. In all levels of government, our community has received a disproportionately low, horribly low amount of funding, even though our population continues to grow. In the books of our philanthropic budget books, we receive nationwide less than 1% of charitable funds that have been given out, 0.20%. So we have been invisible for way too long. And now we come together to say that we are invisible no more. We are not going to take it anymore. We are gathered in solidarity within and with other communities to say that we matter too. And this is important in government, as Ben mentioned. Last year, we passed a resolution in Congress, a resolution that was simply symbolic, cost no money, and 164 of my colleagues voted against it. Against a symbolic resolution just said that Congress stands against discriminating against Asians. That shouldn't be so hard for people to stand up against. And so I want to be here today to be with all of you, to say thank you to each and every one of you, to all of you who might not be in politics, who might not have a microphone, who might not have a platform. Your voice has been so incredibly important, and we are so grateful. Last week, I went to Atlanta to meet with some of the families of the victims. And while I will never know what it has been like for their families to go through this horrendous tragedy for 45 minutes without traffic and first places. And part of that is because of the silence and the invisibility that we have seen Asian American women in this country been treated as. Asian American women's stories. Ben's letting me introduce our U.S. Senator, our Majority Leader, our very own New Yorker, fighter for our Asian American community. But I want you to know that behind the scenes, He has been working every single day to make sure that Congress passes legislation that will directly help our communities and help us curb these rising incidents of hate. And I'm so proud to serve with him in Congress and so thankful for his leadership. Senator Chuck Schumer.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Grace Meng. And has she done a great job fighting racism, fighting bigotry, and standing up for the Asian American community? Let's hear it for her. Now, today is a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day because the sun is shining and there are no clouds. It's a beautiful day because it's spring and it's 50, 55 degrees. But you know why it's a beautiful day most of all? Because the Asian American community and so many millions of others of goodwill are standing up to fight the bigotry, fight the hatred, fight the despicable actions of so many against the Asian American community. Now, we know this is not new. This is not new. There's been bigotry against Asian Americans for too many decades, as there has been bigotry against so many others. But what's made it even worse, frankly, my friends, is that we had a president who not only failed to condemn bigotry on so many occasions, but all too often encouraged the bigots. We have a double effort here. The effort we've always had to fight bigotry, but the demons that he has let loose must be slain. The demons that he has let loose must be pushed back underground. The demons that he has let loose must be fiercely condemned on every occasion. You know, I don't think I've missed a day where I haven't attended a rally against Asian American bigotry. I feel so strongly and so deeply about this. Our Asian American community here in New York and in the U.S. is a beautiful community.
I don't want to get hurt, and there are ways that you can get involved to support.
What is
Senator
New York City
Schumer, what is
Council
your
going to do?
message
What
towards
is the
Asian
mayor's
American
office going to
community and
do?
Stand
How can
strong.
change
We love
so that
you.
we
You're
can
the
leave
best
our
of
houses
America.
and-
We will
and
fight
feel safe
hatred in
walking the
every
streets.
way.
So thank you.
Okay.
Councilmember Chin, please.
Out of 51. And my journey to the city council was not easy. It was a journey that took 20 years. I started in 1991. Maybe some of you weren't even born then. Okay? And when we talk about hate and discrimination, I remember voters, seniors who went to the poll to vote for me and were turned away. Oh, your name is not in the book. You don't vote in this area. Even an Asian American woman who spoke English, who was born here, was turned away from the poll. It took me 20 years to finally won the election. I'm really happy to see so many young people from different race and background here to support the Asian American community. On the City Council, we're looking at, strengthened legislation that can help victims report hate crime and also make sure that hate crimes are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. But most importantly is the budget. That this year's budget really have to reflect support for all the community and uplifting everyone, and especially for our youth and our seniors and immigrant community.
Okay, what about today's event? What are your thoughts about it, and with Chuck Schumer, Grace Meng attending?
It's great to have our federal elected official here, our senator and our Congress member, because we need help from the federal government, and that's why with this new administration, we are hopeful that we will be able to get the resources to help all the communities in New York City to come back and to be healthy and strong. And that's how we can build, intergroup relations when everyone is uplifted.
Any comments about the mayoral race?
And you know what black and Asian folks?
I'm supporting Andrew Yang. And I think that it's great to have a diversity of candidates. We have to get New York City to recover, but we also have to make sure that the people in need, the community that need the greatest help, gets it. And this is a whole, equity issue. And we make sure that the structural inequity is resolved.
Okay, City Councilwoman, thank you. Good day.
As he died in Harlem in 1965. That is what true working class unity looks like. That's what you call it. It's about our power. We move any legislation because of our.
Yes or no? Do the politicians need to do better? Do the police need to do better? Do our educators need to do better?
It's a moment in history. It's a wave of people of color finally coming together. We're realizing that over 300 years or more, this country is founded on racism. So because of all the attacks and the pandemic, our country is split wide open, and we finally are revealed all of the things, these systems that are supporting white supremacy, which keeps people of color down. So now that we are aware of that, we're screaming.
Make us look at
It's
each other
about
as
unity
enemy
and
because we're
solidarity. So
not.
it's amazing.
Accumulation of things is not economic.
Solo el pueblo, salva el pueblo. Power to the people.
Silence me. Ain't gonna happen. All right. Get involved.
What is the message you want to be sending from your organization towards this event and towards the Asian American community?
We need to tell the story of who we are. We are Asian Americans!
We're not just talking about individual violence. We're talking about
in the memory of Coffee Lee,
we're talking about the China
our
bashing,
organization
the
called
anti-China
Coma,
propaganda that we
Chinatown
see in the
Organization
creating
for
this
Media Awakening.
climate of hate against Asian Americans. So it's incredibly important that when we come out here, we demand an end to the hate crimes, we demand an end to the racist system that created the hate crimes, and that we stand up and we speak out and we stand against not only the bigotry as an individual sense, but we stand against the entire war apparatus that we see. Because a big part of why we see this anti-China propaganda, you can take it from the Pentagon, you don't have to take it from me, but what the Pentagon has put out there is that they are preparing for great power confrontation with China. They're calling it a trade war. They're putting military bases encircling China. We see the Pentagon preparing for a potential war in the next 50 years. We don't know what that looks like, but the reality is that we have to oppose that no matter what. And Asian Americans, we're being scapegoated in that process, and that's exactly what we're
How's
seeing.
everyone doing?
The other part of it I would add is that when we're talking about
it is so
anti-Asian
good
violence,
to be here
a
today
major
with
part
all
of this
of you.
is about the fact that China's
I
people
come from
and all the
Philadelphia
anti-China propaganda,
to be here
the US is
today
blaming China
to
for the
support.
pandemic, when in
I am a
reality, we
loud,
should be blaming the
phenomenal,
politicians who allowed us to
proud
die. We should be
Asian
blaming the
woman.
millionaires in Congress and the billionaires that they serve for not doing anything.
Who else is
when our
proud
people are
out
under
there?
attack. So I think it's
Let me
very
hear y'all
important
scream.
that
Who
they
else
are
is
diverting
proud
the attention away
out
from their responsibility
there?
and instead putting the attention
I will not
entirely
be a
on
result
China when it's not
to
China's
your
fault
bad
that the U.S.
day.
refused to take care of the pandemic. So we're being scapegoated.
I had a
as
whole
people in this
speech
process, and we
planned
have
out,
to
but
fight
you know what?
What is your thoughts in the appearances of congressional, city council, and federal, state, and local officials
when
at
I
this
think of
event
New York
today?
City, when I
mean,
think
I
about
think Democrats and Republicans,
love,
politicians across the
peace,
aisle,
when I
every
think
single
about
year they
activism,
they
when I
approve
think about
a $700
my
billion
idol.
war budget. That's what they do every single
I
time
think
it comes
about
around. They
Yoko
approve
Ono.
a $700 billion
Is
war
anyone
budget.
familiar
And
with
so it
Yoko
doesn't matter
Ono?
if you're a Democrat. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican. It doesn't matter
So
if you
I
come
would
to
like
these
to sing a
rallies. What you
song
actually need to
today
do is stop the
that was
U.S. war
written
machine, defund
by
it.
Yoko
You need to
Ono.
stand up for our communities, and more than that, it's not just about bystander intervention. If you aren't actually actively passing legislation, actively doing anything, how dare you come to our rallies and claim it's just about individual bigots? So that's my perspective. I don't think this is a movement that's led by politicians. It has to be a movement independent of the Democratic Party, a movement that's led by us, the people.
Okay, thank you.